Right, so today's cook is carrot soup. This is absolutely delicious. Now, we've had some storms recently, and this goes down a treat to warm you up. It's all the oranges go into this. So, this is the shopping list. Pretty self explanatory from the off. We're going to want some carrots. Big carrots, tasty carrots. Find the best carrots that you can get because this is carrot soup. Okay, we're gonna add some celery and onions, obviously, but also as a thickening agent into this soup, we're gonna add sweet potato. Not only are they gonna offer flavor, orange, they're gonna break down and thicken. Then the flavoring, we're going to want some garlic. We're going to want stock. I'm using a cube because I'm lazy, but use what you prefer. More orange coming here, all right? And it's in the form of turmeric, anti-inflammatory. And we will have some ground ginger, more orange, and of course, seasoning. So, all the good things. As I say, this is nutritious and delicious. It's going to warm you up, make you feel good, and get you ready for better weather. Right. Okay. So one ingredient I forgot was sage. If you watch any of the videos on the channel, you know I've got a bit of an issue with sage. I'm a bit of an addict. But let's get cracking. We need it. We need it in this recipe. So start off just by preparing your veg. Pretty obvious. Just chop your onion up into, decent chunks. It doesn't have to be too small because it's all going to kind of break down anyway. Same thing with the celery, just in manageable pieces so that once it gets into the pan, it can start cooking. Next up is the carrots, the main event. Now we want to chop these up into manageable pieces, just nicely cut pieces, nothing too small, but nothing too big because we want it to cook at a decent rate. Then you're going to peel your sweet potatoes. These can be cut up slightly bigger because they will break down anyway as the cook progresses. So let's actually do the cooking stage here. So we've got a pan. Make sure we've got a decent lug of oil because now we're going to throw in those onions and your celery, your base, and we're going to start to cook these down. We're going to start to make sure they soften and they get a bit translucent because we don't want boiled onions, boiled celery. Then we can see that we're grating in our garlic. I'm a big proponent of grating rather than chopping. Just easier. So once you've done that, you just make sure that goes in pretty damn easy before we get that sage. We forgot that in the shopping list, but we won't forget it in the actual recipe. So just put in as much as you need. Boil the kettle for your stock if that is what you are doing. Before you chuck in all of the other veg. So you've got your carrots and your sweet potato going in. At this time, you would obviously pour in your hot water into your stock cube if that's what you're doing. If you've got stock pre-made, then you can use that. But make sure you melt down that cube. I did not record that step, that important step of melting the cube. I know you're going to be disappointed, but we live and we learn. So we can just pour in the melted stock cube. You're going to have to imagine the melting of it, okay? And then get the rest of that boiling water from the kettle and fill up as much as you like, okay? There's enough flavor packed in to take quite a lot of water. So just pour that in and give it a bit of a stir and start to cook this down. Now, I would say it's going to take, the best part of about 45 minutes. But before we put on the lid, you're going to want to put in the rest of your flavorings. So that ginger and the turmeric. Putting loads of turmeric because, as we said, it's anti-inflammatory. It's good for you at this time of the year. And it does give this nice earthy flavor to the soup that you're not going to have otherwise. So make sure you pour that in. Try not to get it all up the wooden spoon. Try to get it in your actual soup. Mix it around, and then put your lid on. And as I say, around about 45 minutes, you want the veg in this, primarily the carrot, to soften down, be really, really nice and soft. So make sure you've got your mittens before you lift off the lid, but you can see what's been going on underneath that lid. Wow. You can actually see that it has started to thicken. Like I said, that sweet potato, it will start to break down. Now you can see the bigger chunks are still there of the sweet potato, but it has started to break down, has started to thicken this stock. Now we're going to thicken this even further, but you can see that I'm just, it's ready now because I'm just squashing that veg against the side of the pan. Doesn't need to be cooked any further. It's ready for the next step, and that next step is blitzing up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to want your blender. Now what I would say is primarily put the veg in. You don't need to put all the stock. You don't need to put all the stock in because we're going to mix it back in. So put in all of the veg into the blender and some of the liquid, obviously, because you want it to blend. And once that is fully blitzed up, we want this smooth, okay? You're ready to renegotiate what you've blended with the rest of the stock that was in your pan. The rest of the soup, that liquid, all that flavor, okay? God, that looks good. So once that's together, give it a mix through so the rest of the liquid mixes in, and then now we can season. So what I would recommend, taste it, see the flavor, see how much you like it, and then season it accordingly. Okay, so I've put in some salt, put in a boatload of black pepper. You can see, love black pepper in most things. So just as a rule of thumb, 20 rounds of black pepper in anything, it is never going to be a bad thing. Mix it around, and as you can see, it will all combine the what we blitzed up and the rest of the stock, but it's still really super thick. It is so thick. Those sweet potatoes have done their job. And now it's time to serve up. So get yourself a bowl, get yourself some bread and butter, and just pour it into that bowl. Look how thick that is. Look how vibrant it is. Look how orange. All the oranges, carrots, sweet potatoes, turmeric, ginger. Let's get started. Where are you, mate? We need you for the tasting on this one. Sit down and pick up your spoon. This looks absolutely fantastic. It's got all of the oranges, so make sure you don't spill this on the carpet. We're talking sweet potato, of course the carrots, the turmeric, the ginger. Every flavour you would want. It's wholesome, nutritious, delicious. It's one of those great little recipes to make when it is looking a little bit colder. So let's have a taste. Seasoning on point. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that before you serve up, just to bring out all of the flavours that you've got here. Nice and thick because of the sweet potato. No need to thicken it by any other means. Lovely. Get some of our bread, dunk it in. We know this is going to be good. Look at that. You know that will stain anything. Even the countertop. Even the countertop. I'm pretty sure I've got a stain somewhere. A turmeric stain from cooking something earlier on in the year on this countertop. We'll show you that another day.